Alright guys, so we're going to take a quick look at the new survivor in Dead by Daylight named Ashley J. Williams. Now, if you're unfamiliar of where this gentleman is from, he is from the Evil Dead, both movie as well as franchise, and it had a remake movie. Now, first of all, absolute brilliant movie and TV series. Secondly, we're going to go through these perks. Let's have a little bit of a look. The first perk here, in my opinion, is probably his second best, if not best, perk he has on the table available. It is called FlipFlop. If the killer injures you in dying state and leaves you on the ground, whatever your recovery bar is on the ground, 50% of that gets converted into your wiggle when the killer picks you up. So if the killer chooses to slug you and chase somebody else, you're only going to have to wiggle for a couple of seconds to get off the killer's shoulder. So make sure if you are crawling away, you're not crawling under a hook while you're covering. Generally, it'd be better to recover on the spot if you're not running something like tenacity that allows you to move and recover. I think it's a decent perk, but it's just like borrowed time in the fact that it's very situational. You need to know that the killer's going to slug you to be able to run this to its truest potential. How many times do you run borrowed time and it doesn't actually, not borrowed time, sorry, unbreakable, and it doesn't actually work? So, the cute perk, I'm not going to tell you it's one of the best perks. I'm not going to be replacing anything off my build for it, but I think it can work decently. The next perk is called Buckle Up. Now, this is a bit of a weird one, alright? You can see the aura of your allies that are lying in dying state on the ground that have been slugged also, and depending on the color of their aura, depending on how bright that color is, you know that you're going to be able to, heal them up straight away. So it also says when you heal a survivor from dying state, you and the survivor both see the killer's aura for 6 seconds. That could be cute, but yet again, it's very situational in the fact that the killer needs to slug for that to be able to happen. It's not a bad idea being able to see the killer, knowing where he is, knowing where he is, but keep in mind, this is an aura reading perk. Aura reading perks do not affect Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger will not be affected by Buckle Up, much like Freddy Krueger isn't affected by Object of Obsession, unless you are asleep. But chances of you healing someone up while you're asleep and Freddy, you know, not being around is pretty slim. Freddy generally comes back if he sees you going for someone on the ground. Not a bad perk. Yet again, won't be replacing anything out of my build. Could be good for a healing build, but at the same time, there are so many good options on the table with Botany Knowledge, Borrowed Time, Will Make It, Auto Dida, even though that's not that great. It's not too bad. We're going to move on to his third and final and quite frankly, most interesting perk. It is called Medal of Man. Now, Medal of Man, after you get hit 3 times by basic hits from a killer. Let's just clarify what a basic hit is. It is an M1 on a mouse. If it is a huntress and she throws an axe, it does not count. If you are hit by a chainsaw, it does not count. If you are hit by a lot of different things, it doesn't count. Anything that isn't an M1. Keep in mind, killers that M1's ability, for example, Legion enhances his M1, it will count for it. There's a little bit of a bug right now where if a nurse blinks and M1s you, it doesn't work. But that's going to easily get patched very, very soon because behavior is normally on point when it comes to doing these hot fixes. Also being said, if we're going to look at this, once you have been hit 3 times and healed 3 times, well, sorry, once you've been hit and healed 3 times, the next time you are hit, you're hurt, then you have this effect activate on you. When you're hit again, you don't get hurt. You don't go into dying state. You get an extra life bar. So instead of it being hit once and then hit into dying state, you're hit once, then you hit again, and then you hit the 3rd time into dying state. It can be very useful under very strict but good circumstances. Do keep in mind though, once this perk has activated, you will glow a bright white light, and this means that survivors will be able to see it. I have seen my allies run around with that bright white glow. It's only there for a couple of seconds, but the killer will be able to see your aura. If we have a little bit of a read here, the next time you heal back to full health, your aura will be revealed to the killer when they're more than 16 meters away until you're slugged. So yes, it works with adrenaline. If I heal from adrenaline, the killer will be able to see my aura when he's more than 16 meters away, which isn't a very far distance. That is the hag's heartbeat if she has monitor and abuse. So that's pretty damn close, I'm not going to lie to you. That's Michael Myers' default heartbeat in tier 2. It does, however, cancel once you are in dying state. So if the killer slugs you for whatever reason or puts you on a hook, he will no longer be able to see your aura. So it's good, providing you save it for the end of the game. But if it happens to you early to mid game and you don't get hooked, it can kind of really be taxing for you. So a killer could take advantage of the fact that, oh, I know where this guy is permanently now, I'm not gonna hook him. I'm not going to slug him. But then you can counter that by going, I'm just going to rush generators and try and pull him over. Do you know what I mean? There's two sides of the coin. Generally, if I see someone with Object of Obsession, I won't really chase them unless they're doing like a lot of shit that I don't like. Generators, if I can see somebody with Object coming in for a hook save, that's fine. You know, not many people run Object correctly. It's very hard to use. If you are running Object, you must always be doing something. You must always be on Jennies. You must always be looping the killer. You must always have something. Some people tunnel the Object. Some people leave the Object. I like to leave the Object because that's me knowing where another player is. Knowledge is power in Dead by Daylight. That's why I love Discordance, knowing where two people are, one person on the hook, one person in chase. Gives me full situational awareness and know the entire map. More knowledge than Barbecue and Chili most of the time, as Barbecue can be hid by going in lockers. Alright guys, that's going to be all today for learning about Ash, but we'll be going through the other survivors.